Global FM, your number one source for R&B in the Bahamas. Yeah.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operator.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. Oh, it's not the answer, for only love can conquer. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving. Oh, yeah, yeah. Picket lines, picket signs, punish me with brutality. Talk to me, honey, so you can see what's going on. What's going on? Hey, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. Woo! Come on, man. Woo! Oh, baby.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here on this Hot Topic Tuesday, and I decided to start today's show with a prophetic song by the late, great Marvin Gaye. That song was released in 1971. Called What's Going On. And as you heard in the lyrics of that song, that is more relevant to today in 2022 than it was back in 1971 when that song was first released, especially here in the Bahamas. We look at what is going on in the streets of our capital in particular. Jason, I'm being told that I have no internet access, so I may need you to restart the router, the router or something, because I'm not getting on. When we look at what is happening here in the capital, the absolute carnage on our streets. It seems just about every night. There was another one last night, by the way. When I was preparing for the show overnight, my lead story was going to be about the shootout at a baby shower, because I thought that was the last one. And then I woke up this morning and saw there was another one last night. What's going on, people? What's going on in this Bahama land of ours? Where have we gone wrong? How did we get to where we are today when it is almost commonplace for you to go to sleep and wake up expecting, pretty much, to hear the news of another killing? What's going on? On the Hot Topic Tuesday today, we're going to be talking about crime, this crime situation. And what needs to happen to address this. And I don't want this to just be me talking. I really want to hear from as many of you today as possible, because Lord knows we got to do something, and we can't only rely on the authorities to get it done. Clearly, they are overwhelmed. This is going to require all hands on deck. What's going on? How have we gotten to the place where people think it's okay to go to a baby shower and just open fire? And who the bullet hit, it hit. What kind of madness is this? Where are we that we have come to this? Let's go to the first clip. And then I really need you to restart the browser so I can get on, please.
A family left in shambles following the brutal killing of 22-year-old Gerard Lee Averill. He was among 5 individuals who were shot at a residence in Nassau Village on Sunday night while attending a baby shower, which ultimately ended in a hail of bullets. Police say 2 men exited a Nissan Note and opened fire on those who gathered. And at this point, the victim's mother, Benita Olabrice, says life for her has just gotten worse. My life is over. I have no one left. I'm not okay, because ever since I was pregnant with him, I was his mother and father up to this day, The victim's mother says making matters worse is that someone who her family could have depended on has now been snatched away. I have no one left to do anything for me. You know, when you have that person who helps you with everything, you could ask him to do something for you and it would get done. She says she was at her Miami Street home when she received the information that would change her life forever. Someone came to me and told me what happened after he got the news. But when my son went out, he didn't tell me. You know, he's young, so when he's about to go out, he doesn't say anything. You just see him go. Now, loved ones say the victim had reservations about attending the event yesterday, but still decided to go to show support to his friend.
Before he left to go there, I was with him. He didn't want him to go. He didn't want him to go, and I didn't want him to go. But he told me he loved his friend. He ain't gonna have to see Fred. He was going to show his face for 1 or 2 hours, and he's coming back home. I was supposed to come back here that night. And I was home. I was waiting on him to call me and tell me to come back. And my cousin called me. And she told me shortly get shoot.
Loved ones also refuting speculation that Avril was involved in criminal activities that could have made him a target. Randia adding that she finds herself at a roadblock following the death of her boyfriend.
Our boy don't go nowhere. He don't go nowhere. You literally could find him 2 places. If he in one spot, he to the next. He don't go out. He don't socialize. He stay with his immediate circle. He don't go nowhere. When I in the work, I home or I here. That's all I know. That's all I experience. I can't come here no more. He in here. Oh, I coming here too.
Meanwhile, authorities voicing their concerns as criminals continue to recklessly commit dangerous crimes and, in turn, jeopardize public safety.
Persons attending a shower. Again, family members, parents, siblings. You know exactly who your family have conflicts with. You know. Let's help you to save them.
With this issue of gun violence now arriving at their doorstep, Avril's loved ones has this to say to individuals who may be involved in a life of crime. They need to change their lives and repent and go to church, because whenever a person is involved with bad friends, that person's life ends up in danger.
Y'all just need to stop. Y'all ain't like, it's something so serious y'all killing up each other for, petty things, small things. All this for what?
Yeah, so that was a report that appeared. You would have heard it. Jason, see if you could quickly do that for me, please, because I really need to be able to get on it. You would have heard his family members say that this was not a family members and loved ones say that this was not someone who was into problems, because a lot of y'all like to dismiss That ain't cutting it. What do we need to do as a collective to try to address this problem? Because this is no longer just a problem of the bad boys killing each other out. But now you just got to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like a 4-year-old in a car driving with his parents, when stray bullets make their way into that car and snuff his life out. You just got to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, like a 13-year-old walking on the park when stray bullets snuffed his life out. What's going on, people? What's going on? 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line to send us a message via text is 8010271. So the member of parliament for the constituency where the baby shower shoot up. You know, you hear these things that don't even sound like something you'd see in some kind of gangster movie. If somebody were to tell you this is something that would happen in the Bahamas, you say, no, boy, not my Bahamas. That'll never happen here. I don't know if these fellas watching too much movies where they think that this, something that they should emulate. They see it in the movie, so they're going to try bring it here. I don't know if we can blame this all on environment. I don't know if some of this has to do with poor nutrition and how that impacts the brain. I don't know if this has to do with the destruction of the family unit and family values in our country. I don't know if this has to do with corruption at every level of society. I don't know if this has to do with poverty. I don't know if this has to do with every sector of society that is supposed to be making a difference falling down on the job, or is it all of the above? We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hello, Miss Malcolm. How you doing?
I am all right. How you doing?
Okay. The first time when you came on, when I asked you the question, what's going on? Marvin Gaye.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing you playing it today. Miss Malcolm, this is the time we're living inside this little country. That if we don't take hold and grab hold of this little country, it will be gone away from us. Crime, two biggest things in this little country is crime and corruption. The lady said when the lady who was sitting down, the boy girlfriend who they's having the little shower for, say good thing she moved because the bullet hit the seat where she was sitting.
Mm-hmm.
If she was there about maybe 5 minutes or 5 seconds, she would have get shot.
Mm-hmm.
You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
This is what has taken place because why? Young man, see, it's nothing happening. People are not afraid of crime. You know, I am going to get political, but the PLP was always soft on crime. We need to do what we have to do. And that's all that matters. Straighten up this little country and show the fellas them, these little fellas them, we are not going to play. We don't care. That's all it is, Mr. Malcolm. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you, but I don't agree with you because it ain't like crime stopped under the other administration. Crime continues.
See, okay.
So this is definitely not a political issue.
No, but if it ain't stopped under them, then we gotta show them that we different. This government gotta show them they different, and they gonna deal with these fellas them, and they don't care what it is. See, the three things, the three P's: pleasure, prosperity, and peace. You may have money, but you can't go to spend your money because why? You think about going down to the mall. You're afraid to go out because why? There's no peace there. You can hear this. You think you something you want to go under the bridge for a little conch salad. You're afraid. That is where you're getting your peace. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you have you're waking, but then again you're afraid to go out, and because you're afraid to go out, you're not spending no money. You gotta come home in your house and just shut up, and you can't go no place. And that is the reason why people are complaining, because why? They cannot go no place sensible to sit down. They just can come home in a hot house. That's all it is, Malcolm. Okay?
Yep. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay.
I have a comment on Facebook says, signs of the times are here each day, but we have to look in the mirror and say, I have to make that change. Come on, fellas, stand up for justice. Stand up for peace so that all the petty things will not matter. I pray we all see the light in these dark hours. We have another call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm.
Hey.
Ms. Malcolm, growing up, our parents and adults around the community used to tell you something. If they catch you throwing rock, boy, stop that. Rock ain't get no eye. Once you throw that can hit anything.
And bullet voice.
Someone need to tell these people, bullets they have no eye. Plenty innocent people dying because you running around just shooting.
I don't think they care. Clearly, they don't.
I would recommend the government, I don't know if they already did, but move all custom duty and VAT off cameras. Everybody who got Wi-Fi, let them be able to put a camera on their house. I would also recommend that we need a squad to hunt these monsters, man. We don't need regular police. We need a team just for them because they're ruling, and sometimes when your children ain't ruling, you have to take a different tack. Ms. Malcolm, growing up in the 80s, there was a particular judge. I think her name was Carolina Battle. And on the blocks, I used to hear the drug dealers talk about this woman with fear. I going before this woman. I don't know if I coming back. They know they going to jail because she don't play.
Right.
There was also a drug unit police officer. His name was Archie. His pass. They used to talk with him with fear because if he come for you, you know you lock up and you ain't getting away. We need a unit or team or whatever to put fear in these young men. When I come for you, I carry everybody in the house, even if we have to charge them and let them go later, because once you do this, these parenting half of these criminals in their house keeping no guns and what's not in their house because somehow a parent know what's going on in their home with their children.
But it just goes to show you, Caller, how selfish these young men are. Because if you know you out there doing foolishness, you know the people coming for you because you out there doing. Why are you going around your family and friends?
Exactly.
To put their lives at risk.
Exactly.
And you know the foolishness you're doing.
And they need to stop that nonsense and VDOC asking them which gang they from so they can put them in the part of the prison where their gang is. You're a bad man, you lock up, you go anywhere in prison. Stop protecting these criminals because they don't care about the average citizen. We have, if we come down to the place where we can let it pass, the woman going to church, she gets a stray bullet. You can't come to the place where a baby sitting in their mother's lap can catch a stray bullet, you ain't want to do nothing about it?
Yeah.
Come on, how much more innocence of to catch these bullets with the NOI before the country say enough is enough? We can deal with you all. We can worry about the ray, and the yada, yada, yada from the parents. I want to hear them cry. I tired of hearing people all the way around this seeing no murder and thing, man. It's hard. If you have a heart to feel the pain from these people when they holler in, man, the woman say her life over because her son gone. I feel that for her. I don't agree that her life is over, but I understand exactly what she's saying. We need to change and change fast as a country, as the people and law-abiding citizens, to deal with these monsters because they ain't playing by no rules. One time ago, when you was beefing with certain people, but if you out with your lady, they say, but you get away.
Yeah.
They ain't fooling with you with your lady. Now, man, your lady dead, man, these people, man, they crazy.
Not even just your old lady, anybody around.
Anybody with you, your baby. And until we get to the point where, listen, what are we doing there, Wicked? We have to tack, we have to change, we have to pivot and do something drastic to deal with them. It can get worse because they don't care. That's my 5 cents, Ms. Falcon.
All right. Thanks so much for calling. Do appreciate it. Let me read a couple of your comments. Robert says it's a combination. I think he meant combination of things that started from the drug trade, where these same young men were babies watching does with the money get away with everything. Everyone on the take, from government officials to pastors, these young men see this and develop a don't care attitude towards everyone. Andrew says criminals hang out around family members because they are cowards, afraid to be alone, hence the reason for the gangs. Well, go hang with your gang then, since that's what you choose to do, but don't be going around innocent people and putting their lives at risk. Kentaro says, I don't want no camera boss. I only want the constitutional right to bear arms to protect myself. Telephone number call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. WhatsApp to send us a message via text 801-0271, 801-0271. What's going on, people? That's our hot topic today. What's going on? Started the show with music by the legendary late Marvin Gaye, and perhaps his best work, which was released in 1971. And here we are, 2022, asking the same question. What's going on? We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good day, Michelle. And how are you doing today?
Hey, JT, right here. How are you?
I'm blessed. Thank God for life. Michelle, my 2 points of contribution today would be in regards to solutions. Well, first of all, Michelle, it's obvious that the government, and I'm not talking about the police now, but I'm talking about the governing administration who make the laws. They're not doing all that they're supposed to do.
What more do you think they're supposed to do?
Carry out the laws, Michelle. The death penalty is on the books. The courts are frustrating the justice system that they are part of, or the lawyers are frustrating the justice system that they are part of. And so many of the murderers who should have their lives taken are still walking around free. That's a failure of governance. Number 2, and one of your, I think, online Facebook commentaries alluded to this. I'm a firm believer, Michelle, that as an innocent, law-abiding citizen of this country, one should be permitted by law to carry a licensed firearm. Now, I hate to have to say that, but given the country, given the way Nassau in particular has become, where lawless men and women no longer have regard for the innocents around them, then the innocents must be properly prepared to protect themselves, Michelle. One of my associates said to me the other day that they went out and they were going someplace and they saw a building with barbed wire on top of the roof, Michelle. On top of the roof now, not outside on the ground on the fence. On top of the roof. Apparently that place was broken in so many times that the owners decided to put the barbed wire where their building was was apparently always being broken into on the roof. My point is the law-abiding citizenry, because of government's failure to do its job effectively, the law-abiding citizenry is now living in prison, and far too many of those criminals are living free. And that is, to me, that is a society that is completely turned upside down when it comes to law, law and order. And one of the recommendations that I would like to also put forth, we have Andres right next door. Instead of the government seemingly allowing some big company to go over there and dig up that place, why doesn't the government consider getting into a joint venture with another country like Canada or the United States, for example, with one of their disciplinary organs in that country? Get into a joint venture program here. Put 200 to 300 acres of crown land up where a facility can be built by the partnering country. The government provides the land here. The partnering country provides the funding and the manpower, and that facility would be used to instill discipline in every single person who goes to court and is charged with a crime, with murder or any kind of violent crime. You ain't even got to be convicted of it. If you are charged with a violent crime, you are sentenced to 1 year in that particular institution or entity or program. And you would, just like their boot camp is in the United States or wherever, you would be taught military discipline, where when you got to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, no matter how you feel, you got to be online at a certain time to be inspected your uniform. You have got to be, you would be instructed in respecting yourself, your elders, your peers, your family, everybody. Michelle, I mean, that's a very loose presentation in respect to that point I wanted to make. But that's we got to, as a people, get to the point where, like you said a while ago, we got to come up with solutions. We all know what the problems are, and obviously the problems are getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
And the young men obviously don't care.
They don't care. They don't care.
So
And there's a reason for that. But I want to we have a cell phone caller. I want to get to that cell phone caller.
Sure
if you
enough.
want to, JT, you can call back.
I'll be happy to. Thanks.
All right. So, but let's get to the cell phone caller before we lose that call. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Malcolm.
Hi, how you doing?
Okay, hi, here. I heard the caller made mention, or it seems to be, it was based on your subject is the concern about crime.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe you when you keep saying this, and I'm saying it because I want it to register into the psyche of my Bahamian people that we have to look at our outcomes based on who our leaders are. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Brave is a criminal lawyer. We're having a high flux of crime. Minnis was a doctor. Health was our concern. Okay? Pop Simonet was a businessman. UBP's Bay Street Boys were businessmen, so the country thrived like a successful business. Finland was not a businessman. His history said that they allowed drugs to frequent the city. We're now in the 2022. I'm 39. I'm running for parliament, and I'm not a rich man because I'm fed up. I'm fed up of the elders who are older than me keep trying to act as if we don't know what the problem is. Yes, we love Brave. We love him. You know, he's a human, he's a person. But as a prime minister, based on the results and based on what your conversation is today, it's clearly that he is driving this. He's driving this so he can get work for maybe the legal industry to try to see it as a means to raise money for the country.
You're trying to say Brave Davis is driving the crime problem in the country? Really? That's what you're trying to say?
Think about it. If If a businessman led our country, wouldn't you think that our focus would have been more on entrepreneurship, business ventures, plans, development, trying to now cater to that industry? Wouldn't you think? I mean, come on, our leader is a criminal lawyer. Our biggest concern during his tenure is crime. Wouldn't you think he'd be able to solve crime then, if that was his focus, to solve crime? And think about it. Do you think, what is the factors of driving crime? Economy. If persons don't have funds, black people don't kill themselves. They rob. They rob. Most of the rich people live gated. So who's most accessible? The poor people. You in the communities. I just came from the corner shop. I walk so I can talk to community people, constituents. And the people who really are most enfranchised in this country are the ones who are not getting support. There are a lot of cases that we meet on a day-to-day basis where Bahamians, creators, because of their political affluence, like myself, because I'm an independent and because I don't want to be party, opportunities are not granted to me despite my education, despite my experience, despite my qualifications. Is that fair as a Bahamian who could now help to reduce crime based on plans that we could implement? But because I'm an independent, I'm not being heard. The other day I was at the UB for the presentation for the National Development Plan. I heard the mics was on when they had the big homosexual hoorah. But I was there and I asked the question between, I was after the homosexual guy and right before the lady. And I asked a very important question. You know what they did? They turned my mic off.
What
you
was
and
the-
the
what
Bahamian
was-
people.
What was the question you asked?
I said to Brave, why aren't we looking at renewable energy from a residential approach? If you need more power and the fuel is too costly, which causes blackout, why wouldn't you use technology like the renewable energy to determine how much homes across the Bahamas I need to outfit with the systems, okay, so that they can now stop paying power, those who now are being given the opportunity to produce power for the country, and then pay or buy the power from the people so they can get compensated and have a residual or another stream of income coming in, and then ensure that these homes have electric cars so they can now create income because now they're saving through the fuel. And now then this will have a positive impact on our BPL because now BPL will be spending less money on fuel. Now they can upgrade with the monies that they're saving from the fuel costs that they're saving from the people that are producing, or the Bahamians that are producing power for the country, and they're purchasing it back from them at probably a far lesser cost if you negotiate it. Why are we putting commercial businesses like Shells International why are we doing commercial installations? That don't help Bahamian people. That's another promise to allow a rich person to gain power over us, to tell us that they will help us when in reality it never happens. I'm
Okay.
39.
So,
We-
okay,
we never got the help.
we get the gist of the question. Okay, because I don't want to spend too much time
Yeah.
off topic.
Please, let's help our country, Michelle Malcolm. Your generation, not mine. Your generation is responsible for my pain. I'm 39. Okay, love you.
Thank you for calling. My generation is responsible for your pain. So I guess the next generation, you're responsible for their pain? Because we are responsible. Now, let me just say this. Right now, we reap in the harvest of seeds that have been sown. So with to that extent, I agree with what the caller just said. This isn't just happening for the sake of happening. We have sown seeds that have now sprung up. And now it's harvest time. And we forgetting or playing like we forget what seeds we planted. So to that degree, I agree with the caller. However, to say that this is some plot or, conspiracy theory as it relates to our prime minister wanting the crime to be out of control because he was a criminal lawyer, I think that's a very shallow argument because he is prime minister of the entire nation, which would obviously receive a black eye internationally if we don't get this crime rate under control, which in turn would end up with us, get countries like the United States sending warnings to their people telling them don't go to the Bahamas, which would affect investors wanting to come in. You talk about destroying the nation. It would be like cutting off his nose to spite his face. Say what you like about Brave Davis. I don't think he's that stupid. Is that a caller for the show? Caller, welcome to GPS.
My beloved sister.
Yes, sir.
It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing?
Okay.
Yes, basically you sound like how I sound today. Madam Michelle, I'm going to be calm. And myself and you, we both agree on the erosion of the traditional family. Am I right on that?
Mm-hmm.
I listened to a few callers, and that last caller was very irresponsible in terms of using. This is not political.
Absolutely not.
Madam Michelle, yourself and I, we was brought up in the church. Your uncle, your late uncle, Reverend Duke Smith, was one of the greatest teachers this country have ever seen. I knew because I was structured under him. Miles Monroe, the great late Miles Monroe, was structured, some of it, under Duke Smith.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know that. A humble man. The church was in Meeting Street, I think it was.
Hospital Lane.
I remember. But let me say this. The world is going through a spiritual transition. This is not only here. This is globally. The world is being transformed into the spirit of liberalization. And I call it the one-eyed snake. And as a result of that, there goes the traditional family. I am the oldest child of my mother and my father. I was brought up in a two-parent home. And let me say this, Madam Michelle. The secret of every child, the first person to know is your mother. I will not get on this phone and say I was all of that. Now that I am hitting on the borderline of 70, I could have outsmarted my mother many times. But when the king, my father, when he roared, I was listening. It's a conspiracy against the traditional family structure. This is spiritual. Let me give you a few principles and I'll get off the phone. And Madam Michelle, you can attest to this. The conspiracy number one, this prosperity gospel is one of the conspiracy. This gender equality, that's another conspiracy. Let me tell you what I do. What do I mean? When the family structure is eroded and men are not being mentored, man have to survive on his ego. Ego. If that man don't have any education, never was mentored, the only thing he can do out of the two principles, positive and negative, and we seeing the result of his, but this man is not being, you will see the result in the negative. As I watch international news, it's happening in Florida, the same thing happening in Florida, happening right here. This is global. God asks man to manage in the book of Genesis. You know the word. Why is it that we're not having a conversation from politicians, pastors, the Anglican, the Catholic, etc.? Why is it there is no conversation globally in this Bahamas or town hall meeting on the family? Check the conspiracy. There is no conversation on that. We have conversation on global warming. We have conversation on the pandemic. We have conversation on all other issues. But there is no conversation on the traditional family structure. There's a conspiracy. Let me say this, Madam Michelle. I am in a position to say some things. A caller a moment ago alluded to some of the lawyers. I may get emotional. I don't have any sons, but I have a lot of adopted sons. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. But there are some mothers under the song of my voice. They will not call in, whose son have committed crime. And I don't want to go there. I'm not the jury and I'm not the judge. But there are some mothers who lawyers in this country are using them, the system, conspiracy, using these poor mothers. Some mothers are making payment to these lawyers like they paying mortgage. Ain't no way in the world, God knows it. I weep for a young man yesterday whose mother is paying mortgage to a lawyer, and the case has been going on for more than 5 years. He can't keep a job. Madam Michelle, that's the topic. It's a conspiracy among the lawyers. There are mothers who put up their land paper for their son. This is why I have a problem why mothers are so quiet. They're not saying. Put up their earnings and paying lawyer fees every month. And the case is going on for more than 5 years in the same country. And the preachers are being quiet and not saying, if this is a conspiracy, my mother's not alive today. It cannot be right. I am not supporting no crime, and I'm not supporting no criminal. But everyone is innocent and they're proven guilty. It's unfair for mother to be going through the stress to find money for bail, find money for this and find money for that, and cannot get proper representation from these lawyers. This is a conspiracy. So crime, to me, and I ask lawyers who come in my place, why do you all do that? How do you all sleep? We complain about what the white man do. It appears to me that our black brothers is doing us worse than the white man have done to us. Have a wonderful day.
Boy, that was a mouthful. Wow. All right, a lot of food for thought there. We are 19 minutes past our break time. So we're going to take a quick break. Jason, during the break, I want you to see if you could find the instrumental for what's going on, if possible. I want that to be played instead of our regular theme music for the show, if possible. If not, then we stick with our theme music. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. Stay with us. The topic today on this Hot Topic Tuesday, what's going on?
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rim, fence, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. Oh, it's not the answer, for only love can conquer. Got to find a way to bring some loving. Oh, yeah, yeah. Picket lines, picket signs, punish me with brutality. Talk to me, honey, so you can see what's going on. What's going on? Hey, what's going on?
What's going on? And you know what's ironic? Marvin Gaye died from a gunshot wound. I was in college when he died, and I remember it was April 1st, I think 1984. I think it was 1984. And when the news flash came across the screen saying Marvin Gaye has been shot and killed by his father, I turned to my roommate and I said, "That's not funny," because I thought it was an April Fool joke. She said, "Michelle, I don't think they're kidding." Sure enough, he himself died from a gunshot wound. And the song that I understand that whole album, he had reservations about doing because he thought it was too politically charged. And he really struggled whether or not to put that music out. And it turned out to be his best work ever. That song that was released in 1971, is as relevant today, even more so than it was back then. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
JT calling back, Michelle.
Hey.
I definitely wanted to finish that point I was making, but I'd like to say something in regards to Dr. P's comment. I no longer believe nor support the notion, Michelle, that everybody is innocent until proven guilty. That is all too obviously not true in this country. You have a lot of people morally guilty. It's just that they've not yet been proven guilty in the court of law for the crime that they've committed. So you see, for me, words are very powerful, and God can tell you and me, life and death is in the power of the tongue. So I will no longer call an obviously guilty human being innocent when I know they're guilty, or when it appears from all indications they are guilty. You're guilty, you're guilty.
You got to be careful with that, though.
I know, Michelle, but look how far to the extreme that's being taken. We should be careful as to how we're calling dirty clean, and so much of that which is dirty is being swept under the rug because so many people are calling it clean.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I hear you.
But what I was developing earlier is just this notion of a national initiative, Michelle, wherein all Bahamians would have a voice in it, to ensure that we start putting teeth to our tongue, bite to our bark, actions to our outcry, in respect to doing something to stop crime. Any young person between the ages of 10 or however young they may be, if you are disrespecting your parents, if you are there committing crime, if you're causing problems in school, if you are breaking the law, you will be sentenced by the courts to a mandatory period of 3 years minimum into this job release, this work program, wherein you'll be taught a skill, but most importantly, you'll be taught how to have respect for yourself and for elders. And this initiative would be managed by former military officers in the Bahamas, Defense Force, or Canadian or American. Any country that understands what morality is, what discipline is all about, should be invited to become a joint venture partner with the Bahamas in this particular idea I'm talking about, because we do not have, in the Bahamas, we do not have the full scope of skills here in the Bahamas to pull off something that I'm thinking, as the way I'm thinking. But definitely our Defense Force officers, those who are retired in particular, ought to be hired. And this program could be funded by some of that money we would be getting from our carbon credits.
Mm-hmm.
But Michelle, we have got to do something to break the back of crime. As a matter of fact, this should be touted as national service, not national youth service, but national service for Bahamians as young as 10 upward to 100 years old. If you want to become a part of national building, then you volunteer to be a part of that program for a minimum of 6 months to a maximum of 2 years. That's voluntarily. But when you will have been sentenced to that program, depending on the severity of your crime, you go there for no less than 3 years and maybe as long as 10 years, depending. But to be taught discipline. Michelle, you have Sydney Thompson on every Monday in respect to our Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
If Bahamians would read the preamble of our Constitution, a lot of them would understand what I'm talking about. These are the things as a nation we are supposed to have been doing for ourselves, right? Disciplining ourselves to be law-abiding citizens.
So let me ask you something. Isn't that supposed to be the role of the corrections department now that we have existing?
But obviously yes, but that is not enough. And Michelle, what I'm talking about is bigger and better than the correctional system. The correctional system,
You're saying
in my
to
view,
get them before they get to the point where they're hardened criminals.
yes,
Yeah.
for sure, and to teach them skills at the same time, not
Right.
just to punish them.
Right.
But And see, the punishment wouldn't be where you being put in a cell for 23 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And you're being allowed to languish. No, the punishment is you are going to go out there and you are going to be made to listen.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't going to be back talking nobody. You ain't going to be rude to nobody. You are going to be disciplined into having respect for yourself, respect for those in authority, and respect for your parents and your friends and family members.
You know, this sounds a lot like something what Sir Lyndon Pinland proposed.
It is along the lines what Sir Lyndon proposed, but I want to see it go bigger, further than just that, Michelle. Because what Sir Lyndon would have proposed, from what I remember, didn't have anything to do with job training. At least I don't remember ever hearing anything.
I believe there was a training component.
Okay, well, I just
From
never
what I
heard about it. There was training in respect to military discipline.
No, there was more to it than that. There was.
Well, I would like it.
From what I recall, there was skills training involved as well. This was.
Well, it would be wonderful.
This wasn't
Michelle.
some mini army as the opposition at the time tried to make it out to be. But you see, again, we allow politics in this country to trump everything, because what he was proposing was a good idea. It may not have been perfect, but you tweak it. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and then years later come back and say, we need to do this, but just call it something else. All for political expediency. We need to get over ourselves in this country and stop putting politics above everything.
Can you imagine if NIB was thrown out when it was first introduced by the Pinling administration? Because a lot of people back then did not want to be taxed to pay NIB. You know how many people would have been in worse trouble today because of the pandemic if NIB didn't exist? Michelle, let me admit to you, I was one of those Bahamians who fought against that idea that Sir Lyndon had initiated, because I saw and I was made to understand that it was a militaristic thing that Sir Lyndon was trying to put up, and I didn't want to see that. I never once heard anything about a job component.
I'm pretty sure it had a skills training component in there, but the propaganda that was put out by the opposition was Pinland trying to come up with his own army. That's the foolishness they put out there just because it wasn't their idea. So to hell with the nation.
And right now,
say what you like about Pinland, but at least he had some vision to see where we were headed.
And we are paying the price for now not having had something like that in place. Look at how well trained and well behaved Defense Force officers for the most part are on or off the force, retired or active. Could you imagine how this country would have looked today if we had had a national service program that Sir Lyndon had put in place, had in mind, to put in place years ago? Could you imagine how much more orderly and disciplined we would have been as a nation? But again, like I say, I'm one of those persons who bought into the propaganda, and I apologize. I humbly and sincerely apologize for having bought into the propaganda back then. I didn't understand what it was, but except that it was an army. I did not want to see no quote unquote long-term dictator. And that's what it was being said of Pinland. He was in power for so long that he was getting drunk on power, and he wanted to become a heavy-handed, rule in this country. So, for good or for ill, that thing never saw the light of day, and now the country is suffering because
I remember the opposition coming years later when they were in power and talking about the same kind of thing what he was talking about, but they call it something else. And I'm like, these are a bunch of hypocrites. Yeah. The same thing what the man was proposing, what you shut down. Now you want to come with a similar idea and just rename it?
Where do you
because
think
now you see that it's something that the country needs?
Right.
Meanwhile, how many young people fell through the cracks? And we see where we are today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where do you think one could go to get a copy of that, Michelle? Because it must have been written down somewhere.
I'm sure it was. I just don't know to tell you where to go.
You think Bahamas Publications might possibly have something in their archives?
It's worth checking out. Maybe contact the House of Assembly. They may have something.
House of Assembly. Because, Michelle, honestly, right now, the problem is so widespread. It's going to take this lawlessness is so widespread. It's going to take a heavy-duty initiative like that to be brought in. It's going to have to come in big, and it's going to have to come in with a lot of financial support, and it's going to have to be long-term.
But I dare say, though, JT, that is just one aspect of the problem.
True, it is. It's just
only one aspect. And we can't put all our eggs in that one basket and think that can solve our problem, because that's just one aspect of this octopus of a problem.
Well, Michelle, the governing administration is not causing the laws on the books to be enforced. The police force can do what the police force can do, but they need to be given complete liberty to carry out the laws of the land. I mean, Michelle, if one only read Romans chapter 13 in the first 6 verses, one will understand why God instituted the law officers of the land. Those are there basically to punish those who do wrong and to reward those who do good. That's essentially what law officers have been put in place by God for. But too many people don't even want to hear about God no more. But yet we want to live peacefully, as we all have the right to live.
I can let you go right now, JT.
Sure.
We don't want to hear about God, but we want to blame God for when things go
Oh
wrong.
yeah, exactly. We don't want to acknowledge God when things going right, or to do right when God requires it. But boy, we quick to blame God when everything going wrong. And if we can't praise God when things are going good, leave God alone, people, when things are going wrong in your life. Thank you, Michelle.
You tell me you ain't want me in my house. Then when your house falling apart, you won't blame me for
You
what's
won't-
going on in your house.
Either you won't blame me
in there.
Yeah, either you won't blame me what's going on, or you won't call on me for help when all the time you was ignoring me.
We have another caller to JT.
God bless you.
Thanks for calling. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Okay, Michelle, I'm not going to stay long. This is Angel again. I'm listening to an interesting show.
Thanks.
I made the point so we could get to this point. Because as a young man in my research, because I didn't live in that era, I was born in 1982. And so this morning came to me, I was just thinking about propaganda. Why did we, or when did we start to teach our children that you could not be a business owner? And so I'm thinking that then at 73, I had to be an under 18. So the adults who born before 55 or on 55, along with their parents, were really the ones who constructed this, I guess, belief in us that we think that we can't own anything, that anything black people do, it has to fail.
But you realize you realize that a lot of that was, what's the word I'm looking for? Conditioned, right? You believe that you understand they were conditioned to believe that, right?
Right,
Okay.
right.
Not long as we get that point.
Because, okay, so that's hence why then, let me get to this point of the independence message and why after now it became resignated again, but it was always prevalent in the 67s and the 65s and the 64s, even up to the 73s, because the speech that Quinlan made in 1973 on January 1st, and I got a copy of the speech from my dear friend, my very good friend, Mr. Obi Wilshcombe. I gave the speech to the lady Carr, I think, from the Coalition of Independence, that give it to Jackson and Lincoln to read it to their supporters, because he said the future, presently, what the future was supposed to look like, that they all agreed to, that somehow after 1973, July 10th, the Free PLPs decided to disagree, that they didn't think that all black people, poor and poor, should be rich too, that they should still have this class system of just all foreign or all white rich, but then certain blacks rich, and so in researching and looking at that mindset, that's why me as a young man made the decision to run as an independent politically, so I can spread the message of all Bahamians should be helped, because whether you PLP or FNM, that was only created to provide us something to fall behind against what was white power. Because at the time, blacks was disenfranchised, so the PLP party gave them something to come behind, like the Black Panther. So they gave them a movement that black people now could come and form this body to now fight against this white, rich minority power. So then they got it in 1967, but somehow the blacks didn't want to get all of us rich no more. Who tasted this power? the name. So you have the name still in power, and so you have to be that name or that lineage or the chosen one to say you could be accepted in power. And if you're not that, or if you come with a message of independence, then you are a threat to power. But when independence message is simple, all I'm saying as independent is, I love PLP, I love S&M, I love DNA, I love whomever. You're Bahamian.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. I want to read a couple of your WhatsApp messages, and then we're going to take a break. And Jason, the WhatsApp phone the battery is dying, so we got to charge this real quick. So a message on WhatsApp says, Ms. Malcolm, nothing is going to change in this country concerning the senseless murders. We need to start hanging. It might not stop the murders, but it will slow it down. What is this government doing? They just continue to be idle and do nothing. We have another one that says, great show always, Michelle. My points, we can duck and dodge and not address this issue. Our ethnicity to the root has been corrupted. The Haitian blood has taken over our society. You rarely find a full-blown Bahamian with the surname Roll Johnson, Malcolm Christie Ingram doing violent crimes. Whenever there is a death by knife or cutlass, it's a pure breed Haitian with guns. It's in the hands of hatred Bahamians. We in trouble is going to get worse. Haitians I guess you meant to say Haitians have come from a lawless society, and if the government doesn't contract Haitian police from Haiti to deal with these people, kidnapping is next. Well, I know that because they ain't control that in Haiti, so what make you think they control it here? I don't agree with everything that you said just now, though. And finally, good afternoon. Sadly, murder is big business. The lawyers that represent the murders, the funeral parlors, etc., are all benefiting financially only until these same entities work together along with the general public and the government to prevent this scourge, will we stay weeping for our young men and women. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation about our Hot Topic Tuesday. Question is, what's going on?
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Father, we don't need to escalate
on in our beloved Bahamas, where just about every night you hear about somebody else being killed. Not even just in the night no more. These fools killing people in the broad daylight. Back in the day, they used to wait till the night to do their foolishness. Now, broad daylight, they just ain't got no fear and they don't care. The Member of Parliament, Jamal Strawn, in whose constituency the baby shower shooting took place, is calling for what he calls, and I'll take it, Jason, from here, a disruption, a disruption of crime.
It's truly a sad and somber moment. Coming and returning to the constituency tonight to a homicide. Even though I'm hearing that the victim is actually not from Nassau Village, the fact that it has taken place in my constituency worries me. We don't have violence, and we've been mitigating against any violent acts in the constituency, and I denounce all violent activities that have taken place thus far, and any that may be considered in retaliation of the same. I stand in solidarity with the Royal Bahamas Police Force. We will work together. I'll ensure that the constituents also know that we will be assisting the Royal Bahamas Police Force in their every effort to resolve this matter. It's very difficult attempting to curb boys who've already become men. There needs to be disruption early on in life.
There needs to be disruption early on in life because it's difficult to curb men as opposed to dealing with them from boyhood. That was the Member of Parliament who represents the community where that shooting took place at the baby shower. Here now is our Minister of National Security, Wayne Monroe, who in a recent interview talked about crime prevention, what we need to consider as it relates to crime prevention.
Vision 2040, it's pointed out that we have to move with socializing people properly. We're looking at programs to address what we call youth at risk. And so currently, Lieutenant Commander Delvon Duncombe and the Royal Bahamas Defense Force are looking at a transition program to track young people moving from primary school to high school who may be off course, with a view to getting them into diversionary programs to try to get them back on course, and then tracking them from junior high school up, seeing have we redirected them, are they still on the path they were on, and if they are, then we will have to increase the intervention on that. So we talk about integration here. We talk about rehabilitation here. That's a concept that you have departed from the norms that we expect of you. So starving people, that's not acceptable. Shooting people, that's not acceptable. Once you are now caught, you are brought here, and they call it program you. We have to program you now to be a responsible citizen, because clearly in your upbringing to that point, you didn't get it. You didn't get that you shouldn't be starving people, you shouldn't be shooting people.
Can we reprogram, as he put it, morality? Can we legislate morality? Can we reprogram someone who has had a lifetime of experiences which have helped to shape them into the person that they've come? Is it possible? There are some within the mental health professions that believe, yes, it is possible. But is this just a matter of reprogramming from the standpoint of psychology or sociology, or is there some spiritual component that needs to be included as well? What are your thoughts? 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, the WhatsApp line 801-0271, 801-0271. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Malcolm.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good. How you need to turn down your radio or whatever you're listening to us
Oh.
on, and just listen through the phone,
Oh,
okay?
yeah. Give me a second, 1 second.
Sure.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, good. Mrs. Malcolm,
Mm-hmm.
as you open your show with Marvin Gaye's song,
Mm-hmm.
I think there was also another song, either by Nina Simone or Roberta Flack, Trade Winds Are Blowing,
Trade winds of our time.
or Trade Winds of Our Time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mrs. Malcolm, what we are faced with in terms of crime and criminal activity is a multi-billion-dollar business. The way we have to combat this crime in our country, we have to make some radical changes. For example, we must have a dusk to dawn curfew, which means that only the fence force officers and the police marine patrol will be able to be on our waterways. That complemented front of police with their drones, etc., so will put an ironclad protection around this island. Stop any vehicle that has a trucklet. Stop it and search it, because you don't know who is in there. And we speak about what we're going to do with these young men. Well, if you're going to pull up to a group of people and you're going to pull out a firearm and you're going to shoot indiscriminately, then by all means, you will be hunted down like an animal and be done away with. We have to get our teeth into what is going on in our society. We cannot any longer, sit back and wait for something to happen. Our leaders have to be sincere. Our leaders have to listen to the plight of the people. It does not make any sense for people to be prisoners in their own homes.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to do a far better job Oh boy. So therefore, Miss Malcolm, set it out. Whatever the penalties are, you do a crime, you will do the time. There's another radical approach I would like to make, is that we have what we call service. We talk about the 242 around the world. And I think there is a program that is called the forgiveness of service of crime.
Mm-hmm.
We need to re-examine that, because I believe that persons who are sitting in jail for 40, 50, 25, 30 years have to be given. If they want, they can get a second chance. And that would be, if they want to do it, they can go voluntarily to the front in Ukraine and fight that solve.
Be careful with your fingers, please, because you're dialing while you're trying to talk, and it's very distracting.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Malcolm. Yeah, I'm handicapped, so my hand just jumping all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay. And that's where we are. We can
Did you say send them to Ukraine to go fight in that war?
Yes, and you know why? They have a second chance, Mrs. Malcolm. You see, you believe in karma, don't you?
Yeah, but
if you killed somebody and you think you have gotten away with it, whether you're serving a prison term or not, if you killed somebody innocently, you're gonna die, one way or the other.
Okay, Carl, I suggest you put your phone down. Put your phone down, because you're pressing a bunch of numbers and stuff. I don't see what sending our people to Russia and Ukraine.
Because you do not get away, Miss Malcolm. You don't get away. You will pay in the end. And since those people are fighting for their sovereignty, as we will have to do one day in this country, whether we like it or not, and I think the time is now. We have to fight for our lives, because we have been invaded by other people who are taking advantage of us.
All right. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Thank you for calling and expressing yours.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The telephone numbers to call.
Go ahead, John. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. The telephone numbers to call.
Yes, you can turn it back up.
Jason, go ahead and disconnect that last caller, please. The telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271. Is that another caller? 3260272, 3260272. WhatsApp line 8010271. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm. How are you doing?
Hey, 52. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm tuning in, and I'm hearing the callers. I just tuned in from the hour. I wasn't listening from the start of the show, but I was upset. The gentleman caller gave a lot of good solutions, but he missed out two things. Firstly, we need a lot of social intervention in the city. I'm socially diversified, and I live out east, and I live in the inner city, and I see what's going on. What happened is you have a lot of young men. It's going to be compounded by the scamdemic, by the high school dropout. So you don't have them, they're not occupied with sensible paradigms. Like, they could be learning a trade. They say BTVI, but you need a far more outreaching program. More or less like a lot of stuff like what Carlos Reed is doing. But these young men have to be reached. If they believe the world owe them something, they don't have any trade. They reach a certain age, they lack the basic mathematical skills and the confidence to go and learn the technical side of the trade that they can that they could do it with universal. So there's no one pushing them towards this paradigm in the city. Like when we was growing up, there was the Jumbe village. You could go and learn painting and art and crafts, etc. All of these type of empowerment models, right? It's very lacking. So this situation about the crime is going to continue. Like I said, it's compounded by the scamdemic. And then what he said that offended me was this dusk to dawn curfew, but I don't know if I heard him correctly. But if he said that, then what he said was to pull over every car and search and to be more, scrutinize the vehicles more, which is totally correct, but that would be against what he's saying. What do you mean by dusk to dawn curfew? That is foolish, wholeheartedly foolish. Then he could log down himself, and he could do his own curfew. But he's being selfish to the young people, and because you have decent young people who are moving around. And a curfew is mindless. It's selfish. This is draconian. It's totalized. It isn't fair. It should be off the question in any event, because you can always control the roads that people traverse on. Instead of having a curfew, you could set up a roadblock paradigm. You understand, Ms. Malcolm? And you could always put fear in the criminals. But this ideal of dusk to dawn curfew, where do you think he lives? Iraq, Iran? You got to be joking. I mean, these people don't hear what this be spilling, man. We need to empower the youth, them, and we need to not just walk around. We need to talk around, and we need more people doing it. You see, it's because just like how I say this every day after them walkabout. We need more than a walkabout. Stop the violence. We need more than that, Ms. Malcolm. I was very upset with this model that he put out there. Everything else
quite
he said
frankly,
was great.
you know, if I don't respect the law enough to in the broad daylight go and shoot somebody, and kill
Yeah, but you know,
somebody,
Ms. Malcolm, you see, the thing is too.
why would I respect a curfew? And they only killing people in the night now. They
Yeah,
kill
but Ms.
people in
Malcolm,
broad
what I'm
daylight.
saying is the fact that you have the previous, you see, by them not, by no crime being eligible for, see, you're not hanging these people anymore. You're not putting them through capital punishment. So they're gonna have a field day because they proud of these ankle bracelets and whatever they doing now. And I'm telling you, these guys are brainless. And of course, the food paradigm is just making their brains worse. They're dysfunctional mentally. So you notice the amount of people mentally unstable walking the streets, Miss Malcolm.
Yeah.
I saw a guy actually talking to the cars and hailing everybody and jumping into the streets and jumping back out, making a joke out of his life. But he's putting other people in danger. But the police passed him, but they didn't say or do anything. But he brought him in traffic. People as he traversed south, he brought in people that traversed north on Blue Road this morning. Nobody thought that he could be a danger to somebody. But there's no intervention with anything, man.
I was driving home last night from a function, and this young man, dressed in very dark clothing,
crossed the road.
No, he wasn't crossing the road, walking in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And I say, this dude got a death wish. Now you could see, thank God I was able to see him.
Yeah.
And didn't hit him. But you could see he's got some kind of mental problem. But
that's what I'm saying. And nobody's doing anything. It was like
and it seems to be an increase in that. I don't know. It's a lot of people walking the street right now who obviously have a problem.
And we don't know the reason for that. And then so we send these people to somnolence, and then maybe they shock them and induce an irreversible brain damage, and we laughing on the outside saying these people crazy when we have induced this type. But I so many things to talk about. I was hoping you could try to get the Minister of Health on, because the hospital. I'd probably call you and talk to you. The hospital, man, is the reason why they tell people don't bring the phone. I mean, oh God, Ms. Malcolm, it's inglorious, man. Jeez, have a good day.
Thanks for calling. 52. The numbers to call 3260271. Excuse me. 3260272. And the WhatsApp line to send us a text message is 8010271. Now, this problem of violence unfortunately doesn't stop at homicide. But we see where there seems to be an uptick in suicide as well. People not harming others, but turning harm onto themselves, taking their own lives. And the leaders of the church, some have come forward to say that they are concerned about this uptick in suicide.
With suicides in the country up by 38%, according to Bahamas Psychological Association President Dr. Wendy Fernander, church leaders here in the capital are expressing concern. Bahamas Christian Council President Bishop Delton Fernander says this speaks to a lack of hope in the country, a message he says he's been wrestling with since delivering his independence sermon.
We believe as Christians that as long as God gives you life and he wakes you up to see another day, that he'll give you the grace to turn some bad situations around. We have fallen, I believe, in these last 3 years into some trying times, but it doesn't negate that God is still in charge and he's still doing things to turn things around. We wrestle to leave our churches open and to have opportunities for counseling. We believe that more people go to churches for counseling than they do some of our therapeutic centers. And that's the reason why for a greater part of my 2 terms I've tried to get pastors trained so that our counseling can be not only spiritual, but competent.
Trent Davis, senior pastor of Golden Gates World Outreach Ministries, says this uptick in suicides may be an indication that we don't know how to fully resolve our problems, and there may not be enough resources.
Young people perhaps feel so removed from counselors, or it's not financially available to have professional counselors involved in children's lives. They feel disconnected and they feel like there is no way out. But the church, through the gospel of Jesus Christ, does offer a way out, and it is salvation.
In light of this, senior pastor of Kingdom Explosion Ministries International, Patrice Smith, says there must also be a national approach to addressing mental health issues.
This is not going to go away, the Lord said to me, unless we pray. And so I really send that charge out to our Prime Minister, and I know he probably will see this, Honorable Philip Brave Davis. Listen, put aside a day. I know the Christian Council has been advocating it and has done it in the past, but I do believe when the government gets involved, it makes it a little more credible, it gives it more meat. And so I would really encourage our Prime Minister to seek, along with the Cabinet, seek a day. Even if it's just a half-day holiday, it may not have to be a full day. Say, listen, we're going to have a public half-day. Then, of course, that's something new. We'll have a half-day holiday where everything closes at 1 p.m. and where we go to Clifford Park and we seek God as a nation, as a country.
She adds that families ought to be concerned about one another.
You ought to be able to see your family. You ought to be able to see signs when something is happening with somebody within your family unit. And so families now have to be more concerned. Don't look for, or don't wait until the last minute on the end stage, so to speak. Look for different things. Look for different signs. If you are a family member and you are, you know your family, so you know when they're acting a little strange, when they're acting a little out of character. If you are observing them, you can see changes, even if it's just slight changes. Your family. And so families need to become more, provide more oversight on one another.
And in light of this, these pastors outline what the church needs to improve upon to reduce the suicide rate.
We have to be more creative. As you would see, there are more larger workshops that people are trying to do rather than the quote-unquote small mission meetings on the neighborhood. We have to do both. We have to be creative. We can't make excuses. And I believe in the years to come, we will be better as a church.
We now as church leaders have to equip ourselves, become more trained. A lot of pastors are not fully trained in the area of counseling. We have to now seek professional training as pastors, not just spiritual training, because there's a whole gamut of people that are coming to us. And so we have to be effectively trained to help them. And then when it goes above our pay grade, we can always refer.
Where the church has failed the community is in its understanding of Christianity as not a one-time experience, but a total lifestyle of every day submitting to the teachings of God's word. I believe, though, that the suicide rate can be turned around when we as church members demonstrate to young people that may be troubled, that we will listen to their issues without judging them, and that we will offer practical solutions to practical problems.
Let's face it, mental health is a major challenge for this country. Whether we want to acknowledge that or not, whether we want to excuse it away. And I think a big part of the problem that some people have with the church is that they don't recognize, many of them, many pastors don't recognize that there is a component, and I like how Patrice Smith put it in terms of being properly trained, where there are mental health issues. I even dare to say that some of it can be related to nutrition. You would have heard me talk on this show before about how people's behavior changes when they get a particular nutrient in their bodies, or when they're no longer being exposed to a particular virus, or So there's definitely a spiritual component, I believe, but there's also a mental health component that we need to be aware of, and a physical component, a nutritional component, I do believe. And I think a part of the problem that a lot of people have with the church is that many pastors take the approach that, oh, come on, I can just pray it away, not recognizing that that person may have some deep-rooted trauma that needs addressing. And I do agree with Patrice Smith that we need to take an holistic approach when it comes to healing our nation, healing the minds of our young people, many of whom who have suffered significant trauma. We need to take a more holistic approach to all of this. We can't just continue to ignore those aspects as well. And I think that is a major part of the problem that people have with the approach of the church. I'm going to read one of our Facebook comments, and then we're going to take our final break of the show. Terry Bullard says, yes, God is still in charge, but he needs us to act or take charge with gonads, not sit and talk. God, after all, Mr. Preacher Man, he had no hands but our hands. He needs strong men, not weak, effeminate men shouting in wind. Let's come together and fight to save these young, mindless young men from the tit-for-tat killing. It's obvious nobody cares. It's clear. I think you better say, if they were white dying at that rate, the stigma would be different. The approach would be very different too, I believe. Is it a case where people just don't care because they figure he's just a bunch of bad boys killing up each other, so let them kill up each other? Is that what's going on here? Again, I go back to the work of Dr. David Allen. The question we should be asking when we see all of this madness going on is not what is wrong with you, but what has happened to you to make you into the monster you have become. And when we can answer that, then we can begin to put programs, holistic programs in place that take everything into consideration, the whole man. The spiritual, the emotional, the mental, the psychological, the physical, the whole man. Address all of that. And then maybe, just maybe, we will be in a better position to put a dent in this crime situation. But it's got to be where we go back to the root of the problem. Because even what I just described, that is after the fact. We have to now look at before the fact, before they get to that place. What do we need to be doing to help these young people navigate through this maze called life? We're going to wrap it up on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GBS.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. We are talking today what's going on in our beloved Bahama land with all of this crime and violence and self-inflicting harm and all of the madness that we see happening in our country. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? We gotta fix this. We can't let this continue to go, just on and on and on without stemming this, without, putting a dent in this and stopping this, because this is going to be the destruction of us all, not just a handful of people, but us all. I just want to say this, as it relates to the church. The Bible says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, may not be in that order, but it's in there. Then will I hear from heaven and heal their land. I dare say that a major component in this whole question of what we need to take to heal our land has a lot to do with the people of God. Because in that passage of scripture, he wasn't talking to non-believers. He was talking to the people of God when he said, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, pray, turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and heal their land. Could it be that our land is in desperate need of healing because we as a church have dropped the ball on our part? Are we too busy being Sunday Christians and forgetting Monday through Saturday? Because we could put on a good face now. We could swing anybody, but you can't swing God. God know what you're doing behind them closed doors. So you think you're getting away with it, but God sees everything and knows what you're doing and what you ain't doing. So could it be that it begins with us? That we need to humble ourselves before God, seek his face, turn from our wicked ways, pray, pray, pray. Let it begin with the man in the mirror. Could it be? When I think about some of these pastors who in the pulpit and doing the most foolishness because they think that the Bible is nothing but a fairy tale. That's all I could say. Because if they truly fear God, I would have been scared to be up in that pulpit, much less doing the foolishness while I know I have to go in the pulpit and outside the church walls and get some cases within. I doing foolishness? You clearly believe the Bible is nothing more than a book of fairy tales. Because if you believed that what you call the word of God, then you would have more reverence. You would have more fear of God. But some of y'all, that's just a book of fairy tales. And you pastoring is just a job, a way to make money. I saying it. And I want to warn you, who the cap fit, let them wear it. If you take offense to what I just say, maybe you need to go look in the mirror. Because if you ain't guilty, you shouldn't be offended. But I want to send a sound warning to the church. We need to get our act together. Because you got too many people. Let me use this as an example. You all know I closely followed the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Johnny Depp said something. It may not have been in that particular trial, but once you start watching something on YouTube, then everything related to that personal subject comes up. And I watched this video of an interview that Johnny Depp did. And he was talking about how when he was 6 years old, he had an uncle who was a preacher. And they used to go to church and they used to listen to the uncle's sermons, his fiery sermons. And then church would end. And then he, at 6 years old, would watch the same man commit some serious sins. And at the age of 6, according to his own words, Johnny Depp said, at 6 years old, I figured out that whole Christianity thing is nothing but, and he used some expletives. Now, he made that decision at the age of 6 based on the behavior of someone who was supposed to be representing God. 6 years old. I wish I get the opportunity to meet Johnny Depp because I would ask him, what life-altering decision would you allow a 6-year-old to make for you today? I ask you all that question. Would you allow a 6-year-old to make any kind of serious decision to affect your life? No, of course not, because he's only 6. But the behavior of his uncle convinced him at the age of 6 that Christianity was nothing but a farce. Here he is, a man today hitting 60 and still holding on to that belief because of the behavior of one man. We calling ourselves Christian, a Christian nation, but some of us more developed in us than you could. Who are you impacting by your behavior that will take them throughout the rest of their lives believing that this is all a farce because you are a poor representative of the God you say you serve? You see how far-reaching this thing is? I really hope that Johnny Depp meets the right person who could say to him, listen, man, you can't let one bad apple cause you to, because there are bad doctors out there, but that don't mean you swearing off of doctors. There are bad pilots, but that ain't stopping you from getting on the plane. There are bad players all around out there. But somehow when it comes to the church, people allow the bad players in the church to stop them from seeking God. So this is a double message. A message to all of you who use that as an excuse. Don't throw the baby out with the bad water because you encountered one bad apple. But to the bad apples, whose lives are you impacting with the message that you are giving through your life? Because for some people, read the only Bible they will ever read. How many people are destined for a certain hell because you playing around with God? I just want y'all to marinate on that for a little while. I know where it come from. I didn't come here intended to say that, but clearly it needed to be said. Because guess what, y'all? Their blood can be on your hands. You're going to have to give an account for their lives. Think about it. Boy, I tell you, we got to figure out what's going on, y'all. Because we can't let this continue to go on as such. We just can't. We got to do something. Somebody earlier on the show mentioned Trade Winds of Our Time. Again, another classic song. I believe this too was in the 70s. I'm not sure when it was put out. I think it was the 70s. Roberta Flack. If not the 70s, 80s. And I don't have my phone to Google to see when. But it's a classic. That, like What's Going On by Marvin Gaye, speaks to us where we are today. And I'm going to leave you with this song by Roberta Flack. And I want you to reflect as you listen to this song. And then I want you to go look in the mirror and ask yourself, what can I do to change this? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Wellness Wednesday, don't miss it. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Have a good one.
Behind a painted smile, heartache and loneliness, dressed up in modern style, unhappy people living in sin and shame, reflections of myself. Life is no easy game, and we're caught in the trade wind, the trade winds of our time.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners